Hi, in this short video what I want to do is show you how to use photostory 3 for Windows. Now this is one of those great programs where you can stitch together your own digital photos, add a soundtrack, add some background music, some commentary, and end up with a really slick looking movie which pans and zooms across your photos and basically enables you to make a fantastic looking film that you can upload onto the website to tell everyone all about your school or about a project you've been doing or about yourselves. So it's a really cool little tool, and the best thing about it is it's free. All you have to do is go online to Microsoft and download it. There are lots of other similar programs that do pretty much the same thing, but the thing I like about photostory is it's really simple to use and it's free, which is always a good thing. As you can see up in the top corner of my screen, what I've already done is create a folder called photostory, and in here I've put the pictures that I'm going to be using and an MP3 which I'm going to be using as the soundtrack to my movie. So everything I need is already there, so I'm going to close this and get on with it. We are going to begin a new story, so I'm going to click next. Now the first thing photostory asks me if I want to do is import some pictures, which of course I do. So I'm going to click import pictures. It opens up a new dialog box and there are the pictures that I want to import. So I'm going to select all of them and click OK. It doesn't take a moment for them to be imported, and there they all are on the bottom for me to work on. Now there are a couple of things you can do at this stage to your pictures if you want to be clever. One of the things it asks you to do is, do you want to remove your black borders? Now, sometimes this is a really useful tool, but actually, because you can pan and zoom across your pictures, you don't need to use the whole picture all the time. So actually, you don't really need to use this facility to take away black borders. So I'm going to say, no, I'm going to cancel this. You might choose to do something different. The other thing you can do is to use these buttons here to remove red eye, change the color balance, basically edit your photos. If we click on edit, it opens up this edit box which gives you a number of different options. You can rotate, you can crop, you can use auto fixes which will remove red eye, correct color levels and stuff like that, or you can add effects. You've got a pull down menu here, and it'll give you a bunch of different effects you might want to apply. So for example, you might want your picture to look like it's done in chalk and charcoal, which will give you an effect that looks like this, which is quite nice if you like that sort of thing. I'm just going to stick with no effects. I'm going to keep my pictures as they are. So there we go. That's the first set of things we can do to our pictures with photostory 3. So let's click next. So when we move to the next box, you see what we can do is to add titles to our pictures. So I'm just going to put a brief title, Sri Meenakshi Temple, because that's the name of the place where I took all the photos. You can change it from side to side, you can have it in the middle, you can have it at the top. You can of course edit which fonts. It'll use any font that's on your machine. You can set the size, the color, the underlining, all of that. Keep it simple is my advice. You can go through and add a bit of text to every single picture you've got if you want, but again it's a lot of effort and I really wouldn't bother. So that's the second thing you can do. Once you've added your titles, we'll click on next and move on. Now on this screen you've got two things to do. I'm going to show you how to do both of them just using this one slide. I'm not going to go all the way through because that would be very boring. So on the left hand side you can customize the motion. Now this is the zooming and the panning that I've talked about. So if we click on this, you'll see we start off and it says specify start and end position. So we could just have the picture just sitting there while you talk over it, or we can be clever and we can say I want to start up there and I want to finish down there. So what will happen is that during the time this slides on the screen, it will automatically pan across the surface of the picture. Now, you'll notice down here at the bottom it says set duration automatically, or number of seconds to display the picture. Now, if you are doing, as I'm going to do, an oral commentary to go over it, then just click set duration automatically and it will set it at the same time as your commentary. So during the time I'm speaking, it'll just pan gently down the picture. Let's have a look at another one. I'll show you something else. We'll save that, we'll move on to the next picture. With the next picture, we could do something a bit different. We can pan and zoom so that you're moving out and scanning down. Okay, zooming can create a really powerful effect for pictures. So let's do it like that. I think that's really good. I'm going to save that. Now, going back to the first picture I looked at, we can set a transition too. As you can see, you've got lots of different options. Lots and lots of them. I'm just going to stick with something really simple, an inward circle, so that when it the transition between the two pictures will look like that. So I'm going to click save. So, we've customized the motion for that first couple of slides, but that's not all that we can do on this page. On this page we can also add an audio soundtrack. We can add a commentary. Now you'll notice we've got this recording section over here and it says type notes to aid your memory. Now this is a really good idea because, take it from me, you often set off to record a commentary thinking, hey, I don't need to take any notes, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll end up doing it 5 or 6 or 7 times because you keep falling over yourself. That's okay, don't worry about it, it happens to the best of us. My advice is to take some notes there, even if it's only bullet points, so you know what you're talking about. So I'm going to demonstrate this now. All you do is you click on this red button and it starts the recording. So, welcome to the short film about the Sri Meenakshi Temple. The Sri Meenakshi Temple is a temple in Madurai in southern India. It's very famous, it's very ancient, it's very big, and it's very important for very many Hindus. It's dedicated to the goddess Meenakshi, and it's very beautiful and a great centre of pilgrimage. Now I've stopped that. As you can see, it was 22 seconds. So what the computer's automatically going to do is mean that that pan down that we talked about is going to take the 22 seconds that slide takes. If you want to get rid of what you've done, you can delete the narration using that button. So what I've done there is show you how to customize motion, shown you how to record your soundtrack. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pause this. I'm going to finish off the rest of the movie and then we'll look at what I've done. You don't need to watch me do the whole thing, I'm sure. That will be quite tedious. So I'm going to stop now and then come back to this when I've finished setting it up. Okay, so what I've done now is finish off and go through and put a motion and a commentary on each of the slides. And what you can do now is just click the preview button, which will give you a preview of the motion. And this last slide gives you just an indication of the dance and the commentary, as you can see. So you can watch all the way through and make sure that you've got pretty much exactly what you want before we go on. Now what you might be a good idea to do here, because we've done quite a lot of work now, is to save your project. So you can save it in the wherever you want. We're going to save it right here and I'm going to call it Meenakshi. Give it a good name so you'll be able to remember it. And then that way, if anything goes wrong in the next few things that you've done, it's not the end of the world because you've always saved your work. Saving your work is always a good thing to do. And when that's done, let's click next. On the next slide, what you're asked to do is to select some background music. Now, you can actually select different music for every single slide, but I'm just going to put one track all the way across, and that's the track that I have in my photostory folder now. one of the things that we'll need to practice on and preview is the volume, because if you set your volume high, then it will drown out your commentary, which will rather defeat the point. So let's set it low, so we'll hardly be able to hear it, and then move on. Now, when you save your movie, you get a whole bunch of different options. We're going to save it for playback on a computer. Yeah, and that's probably about the right size, 800 by 600. So I'm just going to save that, and it'll take a little while to prepare all the different aspects of the video. And when it's finished saving, you'll get this screen where it says to you, would you like to view your story or create a new one? So we're just going to have a quick look, view the story, see how the movie turned out. I'm just going to show you the first couple of seconds of it. Welcome to the short film about the Sri Meenakshi Temple. The Sri Meenakshi Temple is a temple in Madurai in southern India. It's very famous, it's very ancient, it's very big, and it's very important for very many Hindus. It's dedicated to the goddess Meenakshi, and it's very beautiful and a great centre of knowledge. The Sri Meenakshi Temple is famous for its good. So as you can see, it's worked out okay. What I'm going to do now, if you want to watch the whole movie, I'm going to upload it to the Face-to-Faith online community. But anyway, that's how to use photostory 3 for Windows. I hope you found this useful.